Three new elite specs are here. The Antiquary, who steals for fun instead of for need, getting a special guitar, a special hammer from the Chak, and a special dancing squid. The Ritualist, who uses their spirits as minions to destroy their enemies and buff their allies. And the Paragon, who uses his shouts to command their allies to be more powerful in their utilities and in their adrenaline bursts. Let's check all the details. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning, and let's get into it. So here we have the entire post for each of the specs. We're going to go through each of them so you can tell more or less what they do, and we'll get to a little bit of a conclusion. Let's first talk about the Antiquary. Apparently this comes from Lion's Arch. From the Captain's Council has banded together with several smaller factions to claim a place in the Tyrian Alliance, giving us the Antiquary. The somewhat euphemistically, I've never heard that word, titled Antiquaries pride themselves on their scholarly appreciation for the artifacts they acquire. Many of them even keep a few in their private collections, ready to impress colleagues at the tavern or blindside foes on the battlefield. I feel like this is how we're gonna see Antiquaries from now on. Squid happens. This is a great way to start the paragraph. Antiquaries are the pinnacle of accomplished thieves, no longer stealing the material needed, and purely doing it so fun. Oh my god. No longer stealing for material need and purely doing so for the fun of it. It's very early in the morning, guys. With the help of their loyal but not necessarily reliable squid assistants, Antiquary can palm their precious artifacts from their opponents and turn their random balls into improvised weapons. I really like how they are using the lore that the squid is helping you steal these things to put into the mechanic of it being RNG, that maybe you don't get exactly what you want because the squid just gets something shiny and just throws it to you. I think that's super funny, super cute. I really like that. Antiquaries acquire new artifacts with the skill Pilfer, which replaces Steal, summoning a squid assistant from underground to plunder from your target. After a successful pilfer, instead of stolen skills, Antiquaries get the choice of using one of two random selected artifacts from across Tyria. These artifacts range from Crypt's Turret, that fires automatically at any nearby enemies, to a Chak organ that reproduces a shield, protecting you from incoming projectiles. So there's only two types of artifacts you get. I'm guessing those are gonna have some sort of kit, maybe? We did set the guitar. I'm guessing those are gonna be the utilities instead. I will say, having an F1 that can only get yourself two skills, it's a little bit boring, I think. I would have expected a variety of different effects here. But maybe this Crypt's Turret and this shield will indeed have a lot to them. I don't know. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding this. I don't think I am, though. First, give you fine control over the artifacts you receive, from guaranteeing that you'll get one offensive and one defensive artifact each time you pilfer, to re-rolling your artifacts for new ones at the cost of initiative, so you can re-roll if you want. Double-Edged, the Antiquary's new skill category, consists of a set of abilities that can be used repeatedly even while on cooldown. The catch: there's a chance that the skill will backfire when used while still cooling down, often with detrimental effects for the user. The chance of the skill backfiring decreases the closer it gets to completing its cooldown, so players who are more risk-averse may want to wait a little more while before attempting to use Double-Edged skill again. So I think that the conclusion here is that the utilities are going to be the main thing you want to use on this spec. Use them over and over again, and be careful to not use them too much, but that's going to be the main part of your rotation. The Steal skill is going to be useful, but you're only going to be getting two things: the turret and, of course, the shield. I'm not going to lie, this looks very, very weird, and it's definitely not what I expected. I think we're going to see a lot of people complaining about this particular spec. I think we have to wait until Friday to see exactly how it works, how it looks. It might be super interesting, but right now we don't have enough information to be able to tell. I think a lot of people wanted the whole gambling thief. They wanted the throwing car thief, and now we're getting a thief with a huge electric guitar, which is super different and super interesting. But yeah, especially for thieves, we'll see how it works. But I'm not sure if I'm I'm really gonna go for this spec now. Let's go now for the Ritualist. Ritualist is one of the tier's oldest professions. The practice originated in Kantha, where humans discovered that spirits could be summoned from mists and bound to a ritualist well. So yeah, we know that ritualists come from Kantha. Another tier alliance checked. Necromancy and ritualism have always been considered separate disciplines, but as open hostility between the Speakers and Jade Brotherhood cools, and Kantha becomes one of Tyrion's alliance's strongest pillars, ritualists have formed ties with necromantic communities across Centroteria, Alona, and beyond. As you might expect, the ritualists draw heavy inspiration from its Guild Wars counterpart. Yes, ritualists did come from Guild Wars 1 instead of Guild Wars 2. Spirits will be summoned while in Ritualist Shroud, and the ritualists will also gain access to a weapon spells as their utility type. Then they proceed to talk about weapon spells, which are buffs to your weapons. It works a little bit like Venoms, for example, in Guild Wars 2, or stanzas even. The thing is, for Guild Wars 2, it will not only enhance you, but it will also enhance your allies, just for a shorter duration. If it's 5 seconds for the Ritualist, it'll be 3 seconds for your allies instead. This gives a pretty good idea on how the spec is going to work, how much support it's going to give, and also the fact that it will not only buff itself, but everybody else around them, just with a little difference. And I'm sure we'll get some beautiful traits to change this, so it's more focused on you or more focused on your allies. Maybe we indeed finally get a Necromancer healer who's not Scourge and a little bit scuffed in this regard. The Shroud will work in the same way. If the life force is fully drained, the player will exit the Shroud. You want to build the life force to just continuously use your beautiful Shroud, and if you get damaged while using it, like every other Necromancer, you're indeed gonna get punished. Inside the Ritualist Shroud, Ritualists will have access to 3 skills that summon spirits: Anguish, Wanderlust, and Preservation. Each of these skills have an initial effect activated by the Ritualist, after which the spirit will appear. When a spirit is summoned, it performs a powerful attack before lingering in a more passive state. We can see this very well in the trailer actually. When the spirit is summoned, it performs a powerful attack before lingering in a more passive state. During that time, the spirit will periodically attack nearby enemies. These attacks can be focused on a specific enemy by targeting that enemy with the Shroud basic attack. Otherwise, the spirits will simply attack an enemy that is in range. Spirits will usually disappear when exiting Shroud. However, there is a trait that allows them to stick around for a longer cost. For a bigger cost. That's better. For example, when activating Anguish, the Ritualist performs an initial strike on the target that inflicts cripple and vulnerability, and marks the target to take additional damage from your summoned creature. Yes, that includes minions, so we are gonna be able to maybe make a Minion Mancer Ritualist. All the golems, plus your beautiful Ritualist adds. I'm sure that we won't have any AFK farming issues with this. When Anguish is summoned, it fires a barrage of projectiles at the target that deals additional damage against controlled enemies and to each condition to the enemy. So, we're maybe getting power and Condi support here. Overall, this seems very, very fun. A lot of support for different types of builds. I'm guessing we're going to be able to heal with this build, I think. Power or Condi also going to be working most likely, and you're going to have minion support, something that we haven't really seen established very well. I really hope this doesn't end up being something very, very cringe to play in Warzone and PvP, but I'm sure that for PvE, people will absolutely have a lot of fun with it. Some beautiful active gameplay with minions is always welcome, and I wonder how the effects from the Ritualist will interact with normal Necromancer minions. The next one is gonna be the Paragon. This is the one I'm most excited about. Alona, land of the golden sun. A once opulent dynasty and tryon of nations scarred by war, pestilence, and the machinations of divines and dragons over the centuries. Today, Paragons are still known for conjuring golden ethereal wings and shouting bowstring chants and commands to empower their allies and demoralize their enemies. Hoping to expand this tradition beyond Alona, some Sunseer Paragons have begun offering their expertise to those willing to answer the call. We already have the Spear from Gentle Isles, which obviously has a lot to deal with the Paragon, a lot of skills that you would have in that game too, and they actually mentioned this right here. But this Paragon is about the rest of what Paragon was in Guild Wars 1. For example, and they talk, oh my god, this is so interesting. They'll get themselves the "We Will Never Yield" elite skill that prevents the Paragon and their allies from falling below 0 health for a short time. This is an effect that we saw back in End of Dragons with Wellbender. I think the F3 prevented you from dying with a specific trait. I'm guessing this is going to be the same thing for here. You're going to have to get a specific trait to make that work. I don't know. But that seems like a very powerful effect. Not as powerful as AoE Distortion, because you will still be at 0 health, or at 1 health for that matter. But that still could be very useful, and it might actually be able to make you invulnerable and skip many mechanics in PvE. Paragons build up motivation, a new resource whenever they use a burst skill. In addition to level 1 weapon bursts, Paragons gain access to chance, special burst skills that are available regardless of the weapon equipped. Chance skill comes in 2 parts. The first part occurs immediately when the skill is used, while the second part, the refrain, is a posing beneficial effect. Refrain drains motivation when it's depleted. In addition, the effects of the refrain become stronger depending on the current motivation level. Thus, they are their most effective when the Paragon stays on the front lines of battle, channeling adrenaline into bursts and chance to keep motivation high. So what does this mean? This means that you're gonna be using your normal adrenaline attacks, you're gonna get your adrenaline, but you're also gonna get motivation. There are gonna be 2 different effects, and every time you use an adrenaline burst, you're gonna get more motivation in order to use your secondary bursts, the chance. And that means also that as soon as you use your chant, ideally with the most amount of motivation you can, you want to keep using your adrenaline, so you can keep building up more motivation so your chant doesn't get spent and you can just have it there forever, like a huge golden paladin healing everybody around you and supporting them, which looks very, very cool, and it's definitely my favorite aesthetic in MMORPGs. Paragons also gain access to commands, which function similar to shouts, affecting either enemies or allies around them. Furthermore, command skills come with an additional property called an echo. Echo is a secondary effect that triggers a short interval after a command is used, granting additional bonuses. However, echoes can also be triggered early by using a burst skill, allowing skills Paragons to strategically time their echo effects to turn the tide of battle. So obviously this means that we're gonna get a heal shout warrior, which I'm so happy. It might be the only warrior build that I'm ever been interested in. Just shouting at your allies to get healed. That's so funny. That's so funny to me. That's so epic too. I love it. I have to just heal. Just keep going. Regardless, I think it's gonna work very, very well. And I like the interaction that you're gonna have a second effect that you're gonna be able to trigger early with your burst. You can be, especially in a healing build, do one of these utilities and see, this utility will give, I don't know, Condi cleansing in 5 seconds, but I need a Condi cleansing right now because something happened. I'm gonna use my F1 to burst that in and make it work instantly. I absolutely love that idea, and I really hope, that there's so much interesting design that you could have in this. Man, this is, I love it. I think this is gonna be a very, very good spec as a DPS, as a healer, as anything. I really wonder what type of boon it's gonna give. I'm guessing it's gonna be Alacrity, because Alacrity indeed is not the best in a Bladestorm, but we'll have to see. Obviously, we're gonna get more information about this on Friday, so you definitely go to my Twitch to check that out. And we're gonna get way more interesting videos, and I'm gonna try and make definitely gonna be making 1 video per elite spec here. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I'm very interested, especially about the Antiquary. The other 2, I kind of understand what they're about. I understand how they're gonna work. The Antiquary, I don't know what is happening here, but I'm super excited to see what the conclusion of this Antiquary saga is gonna be. Are thieves gonna absolutely hate this? Are they gonna love this? I don't know. Well, we'll definitely have to see. That being said, I'll be live streaming right now once it comes out on twitch.tv/JarnsWithUs, so you should definitely go check out our beautiful meta train while we're talking about these beautiful specs. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.